So here we are at the Wizard's Life, and we've got a guest today. First of all, of course, the Wizard. And Mike, what's your last name?
Ratchford.
Mike Ratchford is our guest today. And of course, Mike, just sharing the rules quickly in case you haven't watched the show. And if this is your first time watching, rule number one, and really the only rule you need to know about, is when the Wizard gives an answer, well, it's always right. So it gives us, Mike, us normal people at this platform of life, it gives us the quick knowledge of not having to think anymore about the problem. So the Wizard's here to share his knowledge. Do you have any questions? Let me define that for a second. Everybody has questions. But when you have questions, what's something that, and you can start low, like something easy for you if you don't want to share something really deep right away. What's a question that you might have that's kind of pondering you?
So if you're unhappy in life, what's the easiest path to move to happiness?
Take ownership.
Next question, Mike.
What does that mean, take ownership?
Okay, great question, Mike. All right, so for happiness, take ownership, as you just heard, and now extrapolate on that, please.
So, Mike,
Well, let's talk, Mike. Mike, what's something you're kind of unhappy about? You brought the
Well,
topic.
he wasn't saying it about himself, I'm sure.
Oh, he might have been.
Okay.
I don't think I'm necessarily talking about myself, but I think people
See.
generally that I'm around have some degree of unhappiness or uncomfortableness with their life and where they're going. So I think it's just a general question. What do they do about that?
Okay.
So I might have an area that I might ask about, but
Well,
Well, no,
no.
do we need him to expand?
no, no,
Nope.
we don't.
All right, go ahead. Wizard,
So
let it fly.
He is the wizard of marketing and branding.
Marketing and branding. So if we solve this question for him, he might make people happier faster.
Well, he actually understands the answer to the question through engineered clarity.
Engineered clarity. All right, go ahead.
No, no, Mike. He's the wizard of this.
Okay, so share with him the answer to his question.
He's going to explain engineered clarity, and that's going to be the answer.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Mike.
well,
What is engineered clarity?
the wizard and I and some people have had discussions about engineered clarity. Okay. Engineered clarity is the ability to say, I'm unhappy with this in my life, or I'm unsatisfied. I don't think unhappy is always the case. Unsatisfied might be the case. So I'm unsatisfied with this in my life, and I want to change that. Well, to change that, as Mark said earlier, you have to have some degree of ownership and some degree of discipline to make the changes. So clarity is about understanding that you're unhappy or unsatisfied, and then working with somebody or somehow, okay? And I always say somebody or somehow because if you could figure it out on your own, you would already be doing it.
So let's use an example. You're just getting out of college. You're unhappy because you don't have a job, but you now have a degree.
Correct.
What would you, for the engineered process?
Engineered clarity would be that most jobs for college graduates today come from certain sources, the number one being the network that you're connected to. Okay, so most young people today are referred into jobs by somebody else. So the first thing, if I was a college graduate and wanted to do that, is I would probably talk to my parents, okay, and say, who are your networks of friends that are in business that might be able to introduce me to whoever in business I might want to go get a job at. So I would expand, while you're in your millennial frame, I would say the greater path to success is your parents' time frame, even your grandparents, okay, or depending upon how your parents' social circle is, your parents' social circle. Those are the ways that you're, as a millennial, that you're going to get a job, because those are the people most of the time that are hiring the people.
And who are going to care for you.
And well, or at least mentor you into your own career path where your own success dictates you should get a job, okay?
Yeah.
So when you have some experience. So what you're lacking is experience. You have the degree, but you have no experience. So what you have to do is find people that want that enthusiasm, but you have to get referred in that says, hey, it's a character position, it's a this is what they did in life position, this is what they did. You know, your degree just tells me you're smart enough to get a degree. It doesn't tell me anything else about you.
Got it.
So I don't care
And
about
your
you.
parents are motivated to get you out of the house, because that's where you might be living.
Well, my parents in particular weren't motivated to get me out of the house. My parents put me out of the house before I got the degree. So
Good
I
parents.
was very motivated to get a job. So
Something about living on the street for a little while,
yeah,
it really
just,
kicks you into
it
gear.
motivates you to
All
get
right.
some things
Wizard,
done.
any thoughts on what, any additional thoughts? This is, Mike sounds like not only did he ask the question, but he solved the question. I love this guy.
Right, he's.
Makes it easy.
He's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this before you get going. Okay, so now that you've asked that question, that level, and you, not only that, but did a great job answering the question, what other questions do you have for the wizard?
Well,
Ooh, in stereo.
in stereo, well.
See,
You're so good, you knew what he was thinking. Wow.
That shouldn't impress you, that
Well,
much.
that's true.
I mean, it shouldn't, so I was impressed by you immensely.
Good. All right, back to the
That
question.
doesn't happen very frequently.
Well, that's, thank you.
You ask a great question, but then you just blew by that.
Oh, well, let's ask it again. Go ahead.
No, you asked the question.
What did I ask that was so brilliant?
Isn't it weird how people don't even listen to themselves? Like, I don't understand that. Like, they're talking. Why
What's
are
the
they
next
talking?
level question that you'd like to
No,
ask?
no. You ask, Wizard, do you have anything else that you might want to
Wizard,
add?
do you have anything else you might like to
I'm
add?
really glad that you asked that question. That's a brilliant question.
Well, thank you, Wizard.
So Mike's question appeals to the masses.
Okay. And your question appeals to,
Well, my insight, wisdom,
Got
like
it.
the scientific, smartest, creature, humble, yeah. So the challenge is that doesn't get to the core. Now, not that that's wrong, because if you're bleeding, you want to stop the blood, obviously, right? Or not?
Get the millennial out of college or the job. If they're a millennial, they might be older than that, but sure, go ahead.
And so how do you fix it at the core?
Let us know, please.
But parents won't do this.
So let us have it anyway.
Okay. So what you do is you take your son or your daughter and I don't know, maybe you pay them for this. I don't know. However you do it. Or maybe you actually make them work for, what you're paying them for, like college or something. I don't know. Have a piece of paper, okay? And then draw a circle on that piece of paper. And then around that circle, list everything that you're passionate about. In the center, there's 7.4 billion people. In the center of our passions, it reveals our life vision, why we were put on this planet. So the challenge that, our children and our grandchildren have is they have too many options. So they can do this, they can do this, they can do this, they can do this, they can do all these types of things. And they're being told by everybody that you have to enjoy what you're doing. And this is the first generation that's ever done that. Like, you have to enjoy what you're doing. And not only enjoy what you're doing, but people think that you have to enjoy 100% of what you're doing. So if I get a job and I don't enjoy 100%, like if I only enjoy 99.99% of my job, I've got to get, oh my gracious, I'm not enjoying 100% of my job? Like, what's just happened here? And so when individuals understand their life vision, their purpose, why they were put on this planet, that's the core. And so now they have insight into like their inner workings, why were they given all the passions that they gave? Why are you passionate about what you're doing? Why are you passionate? Like, where did that come from? A lot of times we say our parents weren't, so it must come from somewhere. So it's there for a purpose. It's to help us to accomplish what we were set out to accomplish. Once they understand their life vision, then it's like, it's not going to be a fairy tale. There's going to be hard things that you're going to have to go through, honey. Like, that's life. But if they've learned how to combine their passions into the hard things in life, then they'll get through those struggles.
Is there a course, Wizard,
Yes.
to learn your life vision?
So if you go to the Wizards Life
Down in the bottom, there will be a link.
.org, I think, or it could be com. I don't know what it is. It's
It'll
com.
be, it'll be down at
The Wizards Life, plural, the wizardslife.com. There's so many magical things there, and so yes, there's actually where you can go right on there and figure, and it'll show you how to do it.
Is there a fee for this?
Okay, new research just came in, and the wizard is not only the smartest person on the planet, and the most humble on the planet, but also the most caring and giving. And so, no, there's no amount of money that you could pay that would be worth discovering your life vision. So there's no fee at all. It's just a gift to our listeners and everybody they know.
A gift. Mike, another question? Are we done with that question, Wizard?
Yes.
Okay. Mike, another question?
No, I think the concept of life pursuit is an overriding concept, okay, in terms of it. And then there's always business and other things, but, I'm just comfortable with that.
You're comfortable. Mike,
I'm comfortable.
pleasure. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wizard.
Thanks for being with the
Yeah.
Wizard.